Sorry, I'll just finish. I'll start this officially. Okay. This is Animation 2, AAD376, Fall 2020, Patrick Lichty. What we're doing today is that we're going to do 3 pretty simple exercises, and I'm going to allow you to use pre-existing art to do it, because I want you to know how to do something as opposed to busting your brain on thinking about having to do the artwork. And this is more of a technical exercise. You know, if some of you who are more proficient in your, in your drafting skills, you know, fine. I mean, you know, go. The one thing is that what you may want to do is that you may want to consider some of these exercises as clips in your animation, which means if you do these things as exercises, it may mean that you've already maybe gotten like 10 seconds done out of your animation just by doing exercises. Think efficiently, people, really. So anyway, okay. So there are 3 things that I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about parallax. I'm going to talk about zoom. And then I'm going to talk about what I call a, what is it? You know, in camera, in cinematography, they call it a lens crank. But what this is that it's really what it is. It's a depth of field push. And these things can be really effective in your animations. I am actually. Yeah, Miriam, I am recording everything. It's fine. So, don't worry about it. Let me show you what I just did. Let's see here. Okay, let me share this with you. And somebody else needs in. Maha, Walla, you're late. Okay. There's actually 8 people who aren't even here, so you're doing better than that. But watch this. By the way, I did this in 20 minutes. The only thing I have to say is that if I were to make this again, which I am, I would, and I'm going to make it again for you. You know, I've got some alpha problems, you know, for the amount of time that we've got, you know, together. I'm not going to worry about this too much. And then the, you know, and then what I would do is that I'd also do some edge blending on the cat. And then the other thing that I would do is that I would also take just a like 30% transparent rectangle and just put it over the trees in the background just to bring the foreground out. That's what you call aerial perspective. So right now I don't like the lack of contrast that I have. And the thing is that you could say, how do you know, like this idea of you maybe wanting to darken the background a little bit and put a little what they call a scrim, a little transparency over it. Well, I mean, you know what? That is those are art principles. That's that's basically aerial perspective. So so anyway, let me show you what I did, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Watch this. It should be moving a little faster, but you get the idea. When you do it, you'll do it better. So what did you think? I did that in 20 minutes. So, however, since this is a technical thing, I will allow pre-existing assets because of the fact that, you know, honestly, I've had a lot of work to do. So, you know, I didn't draw that, you know. So anyway, but that's kind of it. But I took assets from different places and I put that together and I made this. But I want you to do your work. You know, the only thing is that you cannot use pre-existing assets without express permission. Otherwise, if you use pre-existing stuff without my permission, that's plagiarism and that's an automatic F on the project. So that's it. You can ask, but you have to ask. Okay. Anyway, and it has to make sense to me. All right. So the other thing is, I wonder whether, hang on just a second. I'm going to see whether I can find Dunya's, and we'll look at hers again. Yeah. Okay, here's Dunya's. Let's take a look at Dunya's again. And let's take a look at Dunya's senior project again. And let's just pull it apart. Because honestly, she's not running at, she is, what? It's saying 36 minutes. Okay, anyway. An hour, 2 hours, what are you talking about? Let me see if I can get this. Okay. 15 minutes. All right, anyway. Let me also try to bring up maybe a little thing on, was it depth of field. Yep, what they call a depth of field. Let's take a look at this. And okay, let me share this because we're going to do this.
Roll camera. Films are made up of sequences. Sequences are made of scenes. Scenes are made up of shots.
Oh, by the way, that shot from Star Wars, from Rogue One, that was shot in Liwa. That's crazy. So You know what? We live in Dune. We live on the planet Arrakis from Dune, and we live on the planet Jakku, I think. So, which is pretty cool, I think.
In the previous episodes of the shot list, we broke down the various shot sizes, framing options, and camera angles at a filmmaker's disposal. Now, we turn our attention to the matter of focal length. This is episode 4 of the shot.
And by the way, those diagrams might look a lot more complex than they are. I mean, to do this in After Effects, it's not actually, you don't even need a 3D camera. You can just do this with various scales.
Depth of field. Good filmmakers understand that depth of field is a spectrum that can be fine-tuned to best serve the narrative. When we say depth of field, we're referring to an area of the shot that's in focus. Whether it's deep focus, shallow focus.
We're gonna do that.
Soft focus, a rack focus, a split diopter shot, or a shot with a tilt-shift lens. In this video, we'll be examining 6 different types of camera focus. As we progress, we'll be filling out a shot list using Studio Binder that you can download.
Don't worry about that.
Now, it's time to focus. We'll start with deep focus. When both the subject and background are shown in crisp detail, this is known as deep focus. When you have a group shot with subjects of varying distances from the lens, or if there are important details to be gleaned from the background. Shots with deep focus can offer more visual information to the viewer. This allows the viewer's eyes to explore at their own pace and allows dynamic action to play out on multiple planes.
Am I a go to assist Dr. Stone in removing the panel?
Assistance appreciated.
By the way, that's a great movie.
The stunning opening sequence of Gravity utilizes extreme deep focus. The depth of field stretches all the way from our astronauts to Earth's atmosphere. This is a single 17-minute take. Gorgeous though the shot is, there's another reason why deep focus works so well here.
Explorer, this is Houston.
Go ahead, Houston.
Mission abort. Repeat. Mission abort.
As chaos erupts, our deep depth of field allows the actions to stay in full view. With everything in focus, it is our own eyes that do the editing. Deep focus is a great way to ensure that each element of your frame is equally clear. Or when you want to create layered images with action in the foreground, middle ground, and background. But what if you want the audience to pay attention to something in particular? Use a shallow focus. Shallow focus renders a portion of the frame in sharp detail, while leaving the rest of the image soft. This is called the plane of focus.
We're gonna do some stuff with
portions
this.
of the shot can be the background.
And then we're gonna do what they call a push.
Or both. There are many uses for shallow depth of field. For a romantic effect, imbue an element with meaning, or to isolate a subject. Shallow depth of field can also be used to create the bokeh effect, where out-of-focus points of light blur like this. Most shots use some degree of shallow focus, and it is useful for guiding the audience's attention, or to suggest a character's emotional state. Consider this scene from Moonlight. Chiron is confronted by his mother.
Sharon!
Hey, Ma.
Baby, where'd you go last night?
Why?
Well, I know Mama.
And shallow focus keeps something in focus. Our next technique keeps nothing in focus. Soft focus. Soft focus refers to a shot where no portion of the frame is 100% sharp.
I'll put this up actually. I think getting into this is, way too much. So there are three things that we're going to do today. We're going to do a parallax shot. We're going to do a zoom. And then we're going to do a field, a depth of focus shot. So, and why did Dunya's download die? Hang on just a second. I'm going to see whether I can get this. My connection has been bad lately. Okay, see if we can get this in here. But I am okay, it's saying 10, 11 minutes. We'll see what's going on. Okay. So here's the question. Did everybody see that bit with the cat that I did, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to do like a little zoom in on a detail from the background that I'm doing that sort of like suggests, okay, we're going to go look in that window. And then we're going to do a depth of field shot that will basically have like a character suddenly having like a moment of realization. So these will be due in a week. And I'll try to have a brief out that shows things, and then I'll also try to have, give you packaged projects that show you how everything's done. So hopefully this won't be too hard. The thing is that what I'm hoping that you'll be able to think about some things in terms of cinema in complex ways that this class has never really gone this far. And I'm hoping that I'll tell you in a way that will be pretty easy. Okay. So let me see if Dunya's is up. It keeps dying. What's going on here? Okay, it's saying 2 minutes. Let's see if we can. I don't know. I'm having some real issues with my network. Anyway, okay. Never mind. Let me just see if it's on my hard drive, and then if not, we'll just get to work. Let's see here. I don't see it. Okay, I've got her. Yeah, I know, we keep dropping in and out. Okay. All right. Hopefully Dunya's thing will come in. Let me just reshare this animation that I did. And then I'll show you the parts. Okay. By the way, I also graded everybody's pieces. I'd say probably the one thing that happened with some of you is that you didn't start your path before your letter. And that gives you a dot. So the thing is, you want to start, you know, your mask literally about, you know, about like maybe 50 pixels off the beginning of your letter, because then what happens is that your brush, your mask starts before your letter, and then it moves onto your letter, and then you don't have the start of the dot. A few of you had some timing issues. One of you didn't quite get how to mask. In other words, you had the path, but didn't have it set up for mask. I would really recommend that you review the video in the playlist on YouTube. We do have a playlist for this class on YouTube. So, and a lot of those links are in the teaching guides. So anyway, okay, let's see if Dunya's stuff. Okay, forget it. Okay, are there any questions at this point? So we've got about 3 things we're going to do. It's probably going to take us a good hour. I'm recording everything. And either people are quiet or they're scared to death. So, okay, either way, I'm here. And by the way, people who were freaking out about point count on those 2, you know, like logo reveals, those 2 logo reveals and that sort of thing, that's like 2 points on your entire grade. So if you're stressing out about that, or whether you got a good grade on that, you know, really to tell you the truth, they're not going to have much impact on your grade at all. So, so keep that in mind. You know, the exercises, you know, pretty much you're going to have full credit, or you're probably not going to get much credit at all. I just want you to make sure that you know what you're doing, and that's it. Okay, let's get started. Let me go over to After Effects. And what I will do is that I will show you the project as it is, and I'm going to make it better. And, you know, really, to tell you the truth, I mean, if I were to do this better, I think that I would probably oops, no, let me take the cat and yeah, these two pre-comps. And I don't know whether they have, no, they don't have position. So if I were to do this again, which I will, I would like to have this here, and then set our next position here. And then see, the thing is, even though the cat isn't, and by the way, it's running because my Mac is 8 years old and it can't handle this. So, but you know, you see what's going on here. You know, you've got even more action. So, okay. So let's get started. I don't have a PowerPoint for this, but you will have this recorded. So let's get started in thinking of saying that overview at 854. The overview is that what we're going to do is that we're going to set this up in multiple layers. We're going to have the foreground shrubs. We're going to have the running cat. We're going to have 3 or 4 trees, which, by the way, are going to be moving at different rates, which will give more depth. And then we'll have our background, which will be moving even slower. So when you're in your car, you know, if you look out the side, you notice that things that are closer to you appear to be going faster by you than things that are far away. And this is basically due to the angle of perspective that you're viewing that object. In other words, if your change in angle is much slower, it looks like it's going to be going by slower. If it's really high, you know, it's going to look like it's going fast. You know, it's like if you were taking a camera and like swinging it around an object really close, really fast, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be really dynamic. If you're just doing it with something that's a kilometer away, it's going to be really slow. And this is what they call parallax. Okay. So you've seen this. I'm going to save this, and I'm actually going to, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to make a shape layer. Because what I want to do is that I want to give you what I think is a completed project. I mean, you know, for this exercise, and this is just an exercise, honestly. So I'm gonna do no stroke. Actually, since I'll just make the stroke black and I'll make the fill black because I want it all to be black. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is that, okay. And the other thing that I want to do is that I want to make sure that it's behind the cat. And I will, and by the way, don't worry about this thing called a pre-comp. It's basically After Effects word for a, it's basically After Effects name for a group. And it's really cool because you can use it as a, you can use complex stuff as clips. And that's really cool. So here we go. Look what I just did. I just made aerial perspective. That's pretty awesome. So see now? Well, I need to fix this actually. That's, so anyway, but you get the idea. Let me take this and stretch it. Okay. So this is pretty darn finished. You know, or I could take multiple ones of these and then put like a transparency I mean, we could get super fancy. And I could put that there. And watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to get crazier yet. And see what happens is I've got multiple layers of perspective going on here, but I'm not expecting you to get this fancy. But I'm just showing you how actually it's pretty easy to do. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So let's do this. Let me save this off for you. And I'm going to call this cat project. And I'll package this up and put it up so you can see how it works. So let's get started. Let me show you. Well, I'll show you through the import stuff because we've got this running. I'll show you through import what all the resources are and all that, and then let's just get going. So, okay, let's start a new project. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell some of you is the fact that a couple of you sent me a logo reveal with some bizarre resolution, you know, like 2350 by 2100 or something like that. There's no TV that plays that. Until we start working in 4K, which honestly, at this point, I don't like doing because since we're doing things online, some of you who have older computers, you know, going and animating in 4K, you know, is going to be possibly tough for your computer to handle. So I don't want to do that to you. So we're operating in HD. So basically, I'm going to call this. I'm actually going to start getting a little more formal. Master composition. Because the thing is that the cat run cycle is only about a second. So we're going to have to group together a lot of layers of the cat running. So that's why we're going to do a pre-comp. So, okay. Here's your setting. 1080 24. 24 frames a second. Okay. A couple of you, when you did your logo reveal, you didn't change this. You know, I got a couple things for 30 seconds and it was for 5 seconds. You do this here. And we do 5 seconds, but I want actually I'll do this maybe 20 seconds. Just because I want this to be changed. Background color, a couple of you did white. You made that work. But usually white isn't used in cinematography. And another thing that nobody thought about using an image for a background layer. You know, like think about DreamWorks that has this beautiful sky that the moon comes up on. You know, that person who did that beautiful moon logo could have had a wonderful nighttime sky in the background. Think about that for your next piece. Okay. Okay, so what happens here is that we have a blank composition, no layers, and we may only do this parallax thing today. The the push and the zoom and that sort of thing, I may actually do as separate animations and then just assign, I'm as separate videos, I may assign them to you. So, okay, here we go. What do we have as assets? So what we have is we have a 20-second, 24-frame scene, which, by the way, in any of your animations, I don't want to see a 20-second scene out of a 60-second animation, okay? You know, you know, a lot of you have way too many shots, you know, to do that. I figure that none of you are probably going to have a shot that's more than about 5 to 8 seconds, which means you're going to have about maybe 10 to 12 shots. That's pretty much what I'm going to be expecting. By the way, everybody listen, I'm probably expecting about 10 to 12 shots. So just understand that. Okay, next. Let's bring everything in, shall we? Let's import. Okay, so since we're on a tight deadline and I'm in the animation department, I got some assets in from the art department. So sometimes I mean, what I'm making a fiction for you. Sometimes I work in the art department, sometimes I'm doing largely animation, you know, so you know, sometimes I get assets. It's like when I do game design, I'm usually using pre-made assets. When I have time, I make my own. So it's just like, you know, get her done, people. But in this case, for your final, I want you to make everything yourself. If there's a couple things you need external, you have to come to me. Or if you don't come to me for any pre-made stuff, I'll take your marks. Understand that. Okay, so here we go. We have trees. I'm not going to use that. Actually, I'm going to delete that. And I have all of these as PNGs with an alpha. Here's some shrubs. This panorama 3 is actually a tree. I have my cat animation output as a GIF with a transparent background. I was going to do an Arctic scene, but that's that. The other thing that I need to go get is that, and this is really bad of me. This is, I'm completely going against what I say. I need to go get the background, which actually is in my downloads folder because I went and I grabbed it, and it's this thing. Okay, super important point. Look at this background. It is, I mean, it's too tall. It's 3,757 high. We're gonna resize it so it's 1080 high by using scale. But notice it's still gonna be about 4,000 pixels wide when we scale it. Because guess what? We're gonna do what Howard did. We're actually going to do 2 or 3 exercises on this. We're gonna use this for a pan shot, we're going to use this for a push and zoom, and then we're going to use this for depth of field. So, as always, so this is one thing that if you're animating, always make your background bigger than your shot. Make it a lot bigger so that you can move it around and you can do a lot of fun things with it. So, okay. Okay, see, that's way too big. Okay, khalas. All right. Let's take the scale and scale this down. And actually, I don't want to scale it down all the way because I don't really want this. I don't really want this sidewalk very much. And see how having a bigger background really gives you a lot of flexibility. So that's a super cool thing. Okay. Next layer is going to be the trees. And notice you see that black background? Hey, that's great, right? You know, I have some alpha problems with it, but honestly, I didn't have a lot of time. So I've been working on a lot of stuff lately. So I brought in all these three things, and they're all stacked on top of each other. Let's not worry about that too much. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna take all three of these things, and I'm gonna hold down Control. Hold down Shift so they're proportional. And I'm not gonna make them so big that they block out everything else. And I may actually copy one of them and actually put it off screen. But let me just do these. Move this here. And then, okay. Let's take the first tree. And let's move it over here. Let's take the second tree and then move it over here. And notice we're at the beginning of the timeline. And the thing is that I think when you see what happens with this, you are going to be like so incredibly shocked at how simple all of this is. You know, you're going to see us saying, oh, wow, this looks great. But you know what? It was so easy. Voila. So, okay. The other thing is I think I'm probably also going to make a little transparent rectangle in the back, you know, to kind of pull things out. But we'll do that in a little bit. Okay. What do I want to do next? Maybe let's just work from back to front, right? Let's bring the cat in. And the cat's a little bit big. And as I said, the cat's got a little bit of alpha issue because it's a GIF, and I'm not going to do that right now, but I think that you can smooth edges. And also you notice that, you know, I've got problems with contrast. So this is the reason why I'm going to put these shape layers in. So, okay. Right? And actually what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have the cat with this run cycle going all the way across. And the one thing is that you notice, by the way, notice that the run cycle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then that's it. None of this 24 business. And you could probably, you know, get it down to a 4 frame cycle. So these are ways that you can be really efficient. Okay. let's just set this thing up and then let's get some things in place. Let's just, okay. So by the way, these shrubs, they aren't long enough. One of two things I could do is that I could go into Photoshop and I could make this a lot longer, or I can just group them using a pre-comp. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's bring this in, and this is too big. Actually, this isn't too bad. That's not too bad. And if you notice, this also takes care of a lot of issues with not having to worry about the placement of the cat's feet. That's great. So I'm also going to take these shrubs, put this over here and get rid of this little white. And it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. So see, we're almost, you know, and then all we have to do is do a little grouping, do a little duplicating, do a little grouping, and then we animate. And I think what happens is that I'll just give you this and let you chew on that. And then we'll talk about animatics, and then I'll also give you the other maybe I'll give you the other, I'll show you some of the other stuff too. But guess what? Let's see what we have. Actually, no, we're fine. I was just thinking here because I don't have the background lined up with the back. I don't have the background lined up. So let's take a look at things. So nothing's happening and the cat doesn't stick around. Okay. So let's talk about, what do you want to solve first? You want to solve perspective? Do you want to solve the cat? Are all of you asleep? Are all of you freaking out? Okay. So be it. Nobody's talking this morning. Voila. I'll do two things. First, I will set up the basic composition. I'll deal with the issue of the composition. I'll deal with the aerial perspective. I'll make the couple shape layers. So right here, just above, this, I'll make the shape layer, and I'll just call this, yeah, this is just aerial perspective 1, and then I'm just going to make a rectangle that's probably actually bigger. And the active content. And then let's just do what you know what to do. Let's just go down into transform. But let me go down into transform. Okay. Oh, I know what's going on here. The bar is in the way. Okay, let's take the opacity and set it to like 20%. Nah, that's not good enough. Let's set it to 30. Okay, that's cool. And then let's just close this down and then put a copy just above the cat. So you can see that the background is already shaded in. The cat's, popped out. We're pretty good. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at what we have again. Okay. Let's solve this cat thing. Let's make a group. All right. Section note. Topic. Pre-composition. So within an After Effects composition, you can have a master composition and any number of what they have, what you call pre-compositions within a master composition. That's why I call this master composition. What these are is that this is a set of groupings of layers and compositions, and you can have pre-comps within pre-comps within pre-comps. What this means is that you can make a composition that acts like a video clip, which is super great. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this cat and I'm going to duplicate it. Let's see here. I might actually let's see here. Am I going to deal with the speed on this thing? No, I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, that could get interesting. We could make a stereo 3D rig. That would be, anyway, never mind. That'd just freak you out. Okay, let's just copy this. And then let's just take all these copies and then just scale them out. Let's just make it so that this loops on itself. Just check that check there's no gap. Yep, that's fine. Deselect, reselect. Bring this all out. I mean, you could do these one at a time, right? And by the way, this is probably not going to be perfect, but I don't want to waste your time. And by the way, I'm only going to do this for 8 cycles because I don't want to waste my time. And also the other thing is that I get really tired of dealing with 9 million layers. Just burns me out. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Let's see if I have any gaps. That's not bad. No gaps. Whoa, that's great. Okay, cool. Okay. All right. Important moment. Important moment. Important moment. This is where we make the pre-comp. A pre-comp is just like a group. It takes a number of layers and it puts it into a composition that you can use as a clip in your master composition. What you do is you select a number of layers and then you can do what they call pre-compose. Basically, this is what they call pre-composition. This makes a group. You don't have grouping in After Effects. You have pre-composing. And I'm going to call this cat cycle 14 seconds pre-comp. And you know what? It looks like it is this whole length, but you know, the thing is, it's including the whole thing. So I'm just going to bring this back here to this. I'm going to copy it and paste it. And honestly, I could make this into another pre-comp that I could move everything, but just to make it a little more simple, I'm just going to move it. I'm just going to have that move. I'm just going to select both these and apply a movement, apply a position transform to them. So, okay. This is pretty good. We're doing all right. Okay. And also let's come back here and bring our this work area thing. Let's bring it back to where it's all fine. Okay. I hope nobody's freaking out yet. Okay, let's just take a second to breathe. Consider where we're at. Okay. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to take this composition and we're just going to apply transforms to it. That's it. So let's go in a method. Actually, the other thing that I'm going to do just to make things easier, I'm going to make these shrubs into a pre-comp. I'm going to call this shrub pre-comp. And it says move all attributes in there. Great. And then that's it. Okay. So the cool thing about that is that I can apply transforms to it in that. And by the way, inside the pre-comp, you can have all the transforms you want to. And so it's like you're putting everything into a big box and you're moving it around. It's great. So, this should be pretty easy. Let me just go and take the selector tool and just see how much, okay, how much space we've got. Actually, you know what? I might have made a mistake. Hang on just a second. I'm just gonna have this here. Let me take a look at this one shrub. No, I didn't make a mistake. And I'll pre-comp it. I may actually have to, I may have to make a double. I may have to copy this thing because it's not big enough. Okay. All right. Yeah, I am going to have to copy it and just do a transform on it. Okay. So I'm going to take this, I'll put this out here and I'll just copy and paste it and I'll put this out here. And okay, well, we'll deal with that. I'm not dealing with the full size of my screen. What am I doing? You're a madman, Patrick. Okay. I'm just going to take this, put this out here. Oh, okay, so yeah, we've got both of these things here. I'll just put one on top of the other. and I'll just manipulate things as we go. Hello? Yes. Oh. Yes, it's all fine. Yep. Yep, we're all good. Thank you. Yep, I did. You know what? No, I've been in a meeting. I have been in a meeting. I haven't had time to respond. Okay. Oh, okay, great. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. That's so weird. It's my bank. Okay. So let's just open transform. And if I have these two things set up, it'll actually allow me to set a transform keyframe. Actually, I don't want to do that right there. I want to set the transform keyframe at the beginning here. And then let's just go to the end, which is not the end. And I'm going to basically push this forward so I can't go there. Good. Okay. Let's go where, let's just push this back so that I can't go there. That's good. All right. All right. So let's go forward to the end of our animation, and then easy peasy. Let's just move our shrubs. Let's just move our shrubs. And the cool thing about this is that you can see up there how far things are moving, and this is going to be moving really fast. That's great. So let's see how this looks, right? That's great. Okay. The cat's not in the position we want. So let's just take these two cat cycles and let's move it down into the position we want. Okay. Notice that we have not set the stopwatch yet. So it's not going to move until we set the stopwatch. We can't keyframe until we set the stopwatch. We set the stopwatch. Now we can set keyframes. And then, you know what? Again, it's going to be just super simple. All we're doing is that we're just doing a straight positional move. That's it. That's pretty cool. Okay. Just for a moment, let's turn these shape layers off just so we can see what we're doing. Okay. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to take all three of these trees, and I'm not setting a keyframe yet. So these are going to be the beginning. We're at the beginning. And let's just set the position on all of these, because guess what? We can move all three of these because see, they're all together. And then let's just go out here. And just move these. I'll hold down my shift key so they stay in a lateral position. And then actually, here's where it gets crazy. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this tree in the middle here, and I'm gonna make it move just a little bit different. And that's gonna give us a lot of depth. Oops, hang on. That's probably tree one. Yep. And I'm just gonna move it back just a bit. It's gonna be kind of crazy. Okay. And then what's the last thing we need to do? We just take this. Let's just take our background, put a position on it. And then let's just go to the end. And then hold down the shift key to keep it straight. Just a little bit. And then let's turn the shape layers back on. And I'm not totally happy with them actually. So let me do a couple things. I mean, a couple things we definitely need to do. We definitely have to scale them up so that they're as big as our scene. Right? Okay, good. And then honestly, I'll turn off the keyframe on opacity. And I think I want to maybe make it a little brighter. Take it down to maybe 8. And then take this down just a little bit. Just bring the cat out just enough. Okay. Let's see what we have. Look at that. That's amazing. Okay, and then you know what? It isn't going to render past that because I have this. So it's going to be about 19 seconds. 2 people have dropped out. Okay. Anyway, okay. So let's go and render this out. And let's take a look at it. So since a couple of people have dropped out, I'm not going to do zoom and push. But let's just go out here and then let's just put it into this Arctic. And then I'll just do this cat 2. Save that. Hit the button. Just hit the button. How hard can it be? That's going to take 2 minutes. So I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to save this. We're going to wait a couple minutes. We're going to wait a couple minutes and then do this. You can take images off the net. That's fine. I want you to show me that you can do this. I want you to show me you can do a number of things. One, make pre-comps. Number two, put some sort of cycle, like a walk cycle or something. You can bring in a transparent GIF. It's fine. But the thing is, or what would be even cooler is that bring in your walk cycle from animation 1 and put it on a transparency, which would be great. And that would basically take your old walk cycle and you'd have it walking around through someplace. And then show this parallax thing and the perspective and boom, then you'll be done. Okay. So you have a week to do this. And that'll be fine. And then your storyboards are due on Sunday. So basically what happens is that we're going to have production on one side. We're going to have production on Sundays, and then we're going to have exercises on, we're going to have production on Monday, and then we're going to have exercises on Thursday. And they'll be due back and forth. So let's see what we've got. Is it done? Yep, it's done. Okay. Let's take a look at it. And then I'll take this and then hopefully you can see this. I'll make sure this is shared. And look at that. That's awesome. And you know what? That's only an 8-frame cycle, a bunch of static stuff in After Effects, and it looks awesome. So this is like a super easy way to make a super cool animation and not kill yourself. Okay. Anyway, I'll put this online. I hope you get it. I'm not going to be available from this afternoon, probably at least till Saturday. So I've got some family things going on, definitely. But, let me know if you have any issues by Saturday and Saturday, Sunday, whatever. And then we'll talk about animatics on Monday, and you'll have a full PowerPoint on that. And remember, when you do your storyboards, draw them in layers. Draw like your characters, draw your backgrounds, draw them in layers. Don't just don't sketch them out analog by hand. Really, you're going to need to do these digitally because it's going to be super important, because we're going to do this. So, because what happens is that in the animatic, we're just going to take your digital sketches and we're going to move them against the background. We're going to move the background a little bit and we're going to bring them to life, because really what an animatic is it is really just like, wireframes, right? In web design and interactive design, this is just the wireframe of your animation. That's it. Okay. Okay, I from the lack of questions, I figured that either people are confused or they want to chew on this, or you're going to go talk to Shama and she's going to talk to me. So I get it. Or all of you are just basically having some coffee. Fair enough. All right. If there are no questions, I'm going to end this. And then I'm going to prepare for animation 2. I'll get this all up online. I have also done this. I also did this before. And then we'll get this all taken care of. Okay. Thanks a lot. I guess nobody has any questions. So have fun. Have a good weekend. You know what? I hope this doesn't look too complex. It really isn't. It just has some parts. And if you look at it from a systems perspective, if you look at it systematically, it's really not hard at all. Okay. All right. Since nobody's answering anything, I'm gone. I'll take just 1 second. I'll take attendance. So I always take attendance at end of class. And there we go. Fantastic. All right, y'all are awesome. You're going to do a great job on this. And the thing is that I hope that when you get these principles down, it's going to make your animation so much better. So away we go. Okay. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.